Mark Richmond, and I'm from Chef Knives to Go, and this is lesson number 8 in our series on knife sharpening for newbies. Today I was going to do a real brief recap and explain to you my whole setup and routine when I personally sharpen a knife. If you remember from our earlier lesson, I recommended you get a 1K stone. Told you that it wasn't that important which 1K you chose, but I thought that the glass stone, the Sharpening glass stone, would be a good one for you as a beginner. We've done a bunch of stuff. Our routine so far has been to flatten the stone and then take the stone and sharpen on it. After we're done sharpening, deburr the edge with a cork, and then come back and give it a little strop right on the stone. So we've done a lot with this guy, and it's served us well so far, but we can do better, and we can get our knives sharper if we add another stone. As a matter of fact, when I sharpen, I do that whole routine. Then I move on to a finishing stone, which is what I have here. And after I'm done with the finishing stone, I strop the edge. And I usually use either leather or balsa, and I strop the edge with some goop on it, either chromium oxide or other materials. We'll get into the stropping later. So today I just wanted to touch on some finishing stones. You can see I have a whole bunch of them lined up here. If you like order in your life and you want to stay in brand, Sharpening has a whole ton of stones, and they go up in small increments in grit. They have a 4K stone. This is probably our most popular finishing stone, and they have a 6K stone. So you can take your pick on these. I guess if I were to pick one, I'd probably go with the 6K. It's a splash and go stone, meaning you don't have to soak it in water. You just put some water on it and off you go. And for that reason, I think it's a good choice. Sharpening has a professional series. This is a 5K Pro stone. Same thing. It's a splash and go stone. They're good quality. You're not going to go wrong with any of these. I just list a couple of these. Most of these other ones require soaking time. And I should talk a little bit about soaking your stones. All of these benefit from sticking them in a bath of water before you start to sharpen, unlike the Sharpenings. They require different amounts of soak time for each one, and it's pretty easy. You don't have to get all hung up on this. It's pretty easy to figure out. What I usually do is, if I'm using one of these stones, is I'll fill the sink up and I'll put the stones in there, and usually by the time I get to my finishing stone, it's 10 minutes later, and it's ready to go. If you soak the stone for less time and you find that it's drying out on you real fast, just put it in some more water, and then add a little soak time to it the next time. Some people will take their stones, and some of them can be put in water indefinitely. You can just leave them in a bucket. I don't really recommend that unless you're a professional sharpener, and in which case you probably have no need for these videos because you're probably way ahead of me. You really, you're going to be sharpening occasionally, and there's no reason to stick them in a bucket over long periods of time. A lot of these stones will degrade in water if you keep them in there. There are some exceptions, but in general, my routine is I take my stones out. If they're soakers, I'll put them in water and get set up, and then start sharpening. Rinse them off when I'm done, put them on the counter, and let them dry overnight, and then put them away into the cabinet. So that's what I would suggest you do too. So what we're going to do on our next video is I'm going to actually use one of these stones. I don't know which one. I'll probably choose something that you haven't seen before. I've been using this Sanyo 6K stone and like it a lot, so maybe I'll whip this one out next. And I'm going to take you home and show you my routine and see if I can get a sharp knife. So that's our video lesson for today. Thanks for coming by and watching, and I'll see you on Monday. Stay sharp.